In the tranquil town of Kottayam, Kerala, nestled amid lush greenery and shimmering backwaters, life in 1992 moved at a gentle pace. It was a place where faith guided everyday life, with churches and convents forming the soul of the community. At the heart of this spiritual center stood St. Pius X Convent, a revered institution where young women devoted their lives to God and academia. The convent was a sanctuary, a place of prayer and purpose, where laughter and quiet devotion coexisted under the same roof. Among these women was 21-year-old Sister Ubya, a nun who radiated both innocence and determination. Known for her cheerful smile and tireless dedication, Ubya had come to the convent with dreams of making a difference. Balancing her religious duties with her studies at a local pre-degree college, she exemplified the energy and hope of youth. Her fellow nuns admired her diligence and sense of humor, even if they sometimes teased her about her early morning study sessions. That fateful night, Sister Ubya went to bed with her usual sense of purpose, setting her alarm for 4 a.m. She had exams approaching, and as always, she was determined to excel. She fell asleep, clutching her books, unaware of the horror that awaited her. When her alarm rang in the early hours, Ubya quietly slipped out of bed. The cool air of the morning wrapped around her as she whispered her greetings to the few nuns who were awake, making her way to her desk. For a while, she focused on her studies, but feeling the strain of tiredness, she decided to take a short break. She headed to the kitchen, perhaps to splash cold water on her face, or take a sip to rejuvenate her senses. What exactly happened next would remain a mystery for decades, but by sunrise, Sister Ubya was gone. Her friends woke up to an eerie stillness. Ubya was missing, and concern quickly spread through the convent. The kitchen offered a series of unsettling clues. An uncapped water bottle sat on the counter. Water had spilled across the floor, and one of Ubya's slippers lay abandoned. The search intensified, leading the nuns outside, where they found her other slipper near the convent's well. One of the nuns peered into the well, and what she saw made her stumble back in horror. Floating lifelessly in the water was Sister Ubya. The fire department and police were called, and the once serene convent became a crime scene. Officer V.V. Augustine, a seasoned policeman, arrived at the convent shortly after Ubya's body was recovered. He followed protocol, taking notes and calling a photographer to document the scene. Ubya's body was sent for an autopsy, but from the beginning, the investigation was plagued with inconsistencies. The autopsy revealed bruises on her body and a head injury, yet the official cause of death was listed as drowning. Police reports suggested suicide, a conclusion that made little sense to those who knew her. Why? People wondered, would a young woman so full of life and purpose end her own life? The pieces didn't fit. The alarm she had set for 4 a.m., her unfinished studies, and the signs of a struggle in the kitchen all pointed to something more sinister. Yet the authorities seemed uninterested in digging deeper. The local community was stunned. How could the death of a beloved nun, a symbol of purity and dedication, be so hastily written off? Rumors of foul play and a cover-up spread like wildfire. Was the convent hiding something? Or was there a deeper conspiracy at work? As grief turned to outrage, a determined activist named Joman Puthin Pirakal stepped into the spotlight. He formed the Action Council for Justice for Sister Ubya, rallying the community and demanding a thorough investigation. Despite public pressure, the case seemed to stall. The local police were accused of incompetence, and evidence appeared to be mishandled or destroyed. Sister Ubya's clothes were burned, her diary disappeared, and her body had been buried too quickly. It was a tragic mess, and as months turned into years, it seemed the truth would never come to light. In April 1993, a year after Ubya's death, the crime branch took over the case. Their investigation was thorough, but ultimately inconclusive. They too labeled the death as suicide, and for a moment, it seemed as though the case would be closed forever. But Jomon and his fellow activists refused to give up. The media kept the story alive, and the whispers of injustice only grew louder. The case was finally handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, in 1993. The CBI, known for handling high-profile cases, approached the investigation with fresh eyes. But even they found themselves entangled in a web of corruption and pressure. In 1994, CBI officer Verghese P. Thomas, who had been involved in the investigation, held a press conference that sent shockwaves through the nation. He revealed that he had been pressured to declare Sister Abhiya's death a suicide. Rather than succumb to the dishonesty, he chose to resign from his position, sacrificing his career to uphold his integrity. His revelation only deepened the mystery. Who was behind the pressure? And why was there such a concerted effort to cover up the truth? The CBI struggled to make headway. They conducted a series of experiments, including dummy tests, to try to recreate the events of that morning. Using a mannequin the same size and weight as Sister Abhiya, they dropped it into the well, studying the patterns of injury. But the results were inconclusive, and the investigators found themselves at a loss. The case was becoming a national obsession, with theories and accusations swirling in every direction. By the late 1990s, the investigation had reached a standstill. Reports were submitted, rejected, and revised. Activists grew more frustrated as the years passed, but the CBI refused to give up. In 1999, a new team was assigned to the case. This time, they took a closer look at the medical evidence. A group of doctors re-examined the autopsy findings and confirmed that Sister Abhiya's injuries were not consistent with drowning. She had been attacked. In 2007, a small-time thief named Adaka Raju came forward with a confession that would change everything. Raju was no hero. He had a history of petty theft, breaking into places to steal copper rods and wires for scrap money. But his story was extraordinary. He confessed that on the night of March 27, 1992, he had broken into the convent grounds. As he climbed onto the roof, he witnessed a scene he would never forget. In the dim light, Raju saw Father Thomas Kadoa, Father Jose Puthrikale, and Sister Sephi behaving suspiciously. He didn't understand what was happening, but something about their movements and the way they interacted filled him with dread. When he read about Sister Abhiya's death the next day, he realized he had seen something sinister. Afraid of implicating himself in a crime, Raju kept silent for years. But his conscience gnawed at him, and he finally came forward. His testimony pointed directly to the clergy members, but instead of pursuing them, the police turned on Raju. They arrested him and accused him of the murder, fabricating a story that he had killed Sister Abhiya in a panic when she caught him stealing. Raju was tortured, offered bribes, and pressured to confess, but he refused. His strength of character became a beacon of hope for those fighting for justice. With Raju's confession, the CBI focused on the true suspects: Father Thomas Kadoa, Father Jose Puthrikale, and Sister Sephi. The investigation revealed a tangled web of corruption, scandal, and forbidden relationships. It was alleged that Sister Abhiya had accidentally stumbled upon the priests and Sister Sephi in a compromising situation in the kitchen. In a panic, Sister Sephi had grabbed a blunt object, a kitchen axe, and struck Abhiya on the head. The three then conspired to dispose of her body, dragging her to the well and throwing her in. The CBI conducted narco-analysis tests on the suspects, hoping to extract confessions. The results, however, were tampered with, and the original recordings mysteriously disappeared. It was clear that someone powerful was trying to protect the suspects, and the case became even more complicated. The road to justice was long and grueling. From 2007 to 2020, the case went through countless hearings, delays, and legal maneuvers. Witnesses were intimidated, evidence was tampered with, and the truth seemed perpetually out of reach. But the community never gave up hope. The story of Sister Abhiya became a rallying cry for those who believed in the power of truth and perseverance. Finally, in 2020, the Kerala High Court delivered a verdict that many had waited nearly 3 decades to hear. Father Thomas Cotower and Sister Sephi were found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The court cited the medical evidence, the testimonies, and the undeniable trail of deceit that had tried to keep the truth buried. It was a bittersweet victory. Justice had been served, but it had come too late to heal the wounds left by Ubya's death. Her name, however, would be remembered, not just as a symbol of innocence lost, but as a testament to the enduring strength of those who had fought for her. The story of Sister Ubya stands as a reminder that no matter how deep the darkness, the light of truth can prevail. It is a story of faith, betrayal, and the unbreakable will of a community that refused to let a young nun's death go unanswered. If you found this story compelling, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Together, let's keep sharing the stories that matter and aim for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching.